Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I'm super excited to announce the release of my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. If you're ready to alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level in 2021, head over to goldenkey.gift to download the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome. Welcome, one and all. I am so grateful that you have joined me today on another beautifully magical day here on this amazing planet Earth. And I'm very grateful that you have decided to tune in and take a moment to focus on positivity, to focus on what's good, because there is so much good in the world. There is so much good happening. And it can seem that there is so much not good happening. But all of the things that seem like they're not good or difficult are for a very good purpose. And that is the way that I have been looking at things lately. And also have been presented with opportunities to practice what I preach. This happened last week, right after recording Thursday's episode. I had to go and pick up a shipment because I had missed it that day at the office. And it's not the easiest thing to go and pick up this shipment because you have to go after hours to this special location, and I really wasn't too excited about going. I was kind of mad at myself for missing the shipment and creating such a thorn in my side for the day, and I had enough going on. It was one of those things. And I'm also a person who's kind of like a chicken, meaning when the sun goes down, I go into my hen house, and that's where I like to stay. Sun comes up and I come out of my house. So after the sun goes down, I really don't like going places, driving places. I guess I am getting a little old. I would never say that 20 years ago because I didn't leave my house till the sun went down. But nowadays it's a little different. And I had to drive down to this industrial part of town at night, and I was just not looking forward to it. But as I'm driving down there, I'm checking myself and getting my mind right about it and saying, you know what, there's a really good reason why you're doing this. You have to be here for a reason, and you might not like it, but it's all right because there's a good purpose for it. And so I started refocusing my attention, and instead on thinking of the things that were annoying me or bothering me about the situation, I instead decided to say, all right, I get this moment alone to drive, to sing these songs in my car, and to also shine my light where I'm going. That's always a very big deal, that wherever we go, wherever we travel, it's so important to make sure that we're shining our light wherever we go. In my mind, the last thing I want to do is to be leaving droplets of my annoyance and frustration. I don't want to leave that places. I would rather leave my light places. I have both within me, equal and opposite, which is so beautiful. And I get to decide. We all get to decide which one it is that we're going to focus on. And so, as I'm driving down there, I'm noticing all of these instances where I find myself being grateful in my life and seeing instances where I can say, oh, okay, this is teaching me this in my life. This is why I'm here. And then I get to where I'm going, and I'm a little like not nervous, but I stay there and I kind of check out where I'm at and I look around for a little bit because I'm a woman alone at night in this industrial part of town and I don't know where I am. And I just, again, checked myself and said, "You're fine. When you shine your light, you are always protected. Love is your greatest protection." And so I reminded myself of this. And I got out of the car and I walked towards where I had to go to pick up my package. Now, I knew this was going to be not the easiest thing because I was given instructions that my license, my ID, wasn't going to be good enough, that I had to bring extra proof that this was my office and this was my place of business, something else to show them. Okay, so I had that. But they wanted a business card, and I haven't had a business card for years. So I just brought this mailing, a billing statement, essentially. And they said, all right, well, that should be good enough. So I get there, and there's a man waiting there in line before me, and he seems to be having some agita about the situation. He's irritated, he's frustrated, and he turns back towards me to share his gripe. And I just politely smiled and turned away, not wanting to participate in it, because I already knew what my place was there. It wasn't to drop the darkness, it was to shine the light. And so I just consciously made that intention to shine it as bright as I could in this place. And then you know what happened? I looked over towards the walking path where all of the guys that worked at the shipping place, they walked this same path to go and get to their cars. Well, I watched this black cat walk along the path. And I noticed it and I thought, well, that's interesting. If I was a superstitious person, that would make me nervous. And I just my mind started going down that rabbit hole of that whole idea of fear. And then I realized the reason why I saw that was to remind me that there's some fear in this place. And it was even more important to shine my light on that so that everybody knew it was going to be okay. Somewhere, some inkling inside, when that energy hits you, and you don't know where it comes from or why, but it's that feeling that everything's going to be okay. Because you know what? As an aside, this is the one thing that I have been told by the clients that I see over and over and over again. When I ask their higher selves about the state of the world and what they think, because the clients always have questions because they have a lot of concerns, as I'm sure a lot of you do. What's going to happen? Is everything falling apart? Is this going to be awful? Am I going to shift to a new earth and my family's not going to come along? Am I going to be separated? What's happening? There's so much fear out there surrounding all of the things that are going on in the world right now. And every single time, their higher selves tell them, it's all going to be okay. Literally the exact same phrase. It's all going to be okay. It may look bad, but it's all going to be okay. This is all for a good purpose, and you might not see it now, but you will see it later. So, after I saw this black cat and realized that it was so important to be shining my light, it was my turn then to go up to get my package. And so I give him my stuff and he starts saying, "Oh, I don't know if I can use this billing statement. Do you have a business card?" And I said, "No, I don't have business cards anymore, but I can show you this and I can show you that and I can show you all these things." And I was just very lighthearted. Also, before I got up there, I had a moment when I got there and that man was there, and I was like, of course, there's somebody here and I have to now test my patience, right? I have to work on my patience. It's all right. It's going to take a minute. I don't need to be rushed. There's no reason. It doesn't need to happen now. So I had so many tests in this little errand that I had to run. And I could have made the choice, and I have in my previous life as me in this life, but in the other part of me that wanted to go down that road of frustration and wanted to be annoyed that I had to wait longer and that I even had to be there in the first place, all these things. And I just was like, no, it's all right. It's okay. Of course, it's happening this way because this is a beautiful test for me. And I need it. I need it right now, especially because I'm so overwhelmed. This is exactly when I need this test. Test me when it's hardest because I need to practice what I preach. That's really important. And so when I get up there with him and I'm being very lighthearted, and he's like, all right. And he's like, let me go see. And he write your name down. And he goes and he gets the package and he comes back and he, checks things a few times. He says, are you sure this is a legitimate business? Because, I could get in a lot of trouble. And I said, I swear to you, as much as I can possibly tell you. And again, I can show you more things. And he was like, no, you look pretty honest. It's a shame that there's some bad guys that made us do this. Essentially, there was some criminal activity with this whole package situation, and so now this is why they put these measures into place. And I said, yeah, it's a shame sometimes when one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. And he made a comment about the state of the world and how he was nervous about it. And I said, no, it just looks that way, but it really is going to be okay. And he goes, you think so? I'm not so sure. I'm not sure I see it. And I said, you know what? I see it every single day. I see it all around me. And you get to decide. You get to decide which one you look at because it is all around you too. And he smiled and he laughed and he said, you know what? I like your attitude. And his entire demeanor changed. Everything about his energy was different after that exchange. And I walked away from that experience. Now I know why I was here. That man needed some light in his life. He needed someone to tell him, it's all going to be all right, because it is. And he felt it when I said it. His whole energy changed. And so we can all do this. We can all make this conscious choice every single day to choose the light and to be the light, because that is all we are. Again, we have both this equal and opposite light and darkness within us that is so incredibly powerful. And we get to choose which one we feed and which one we focus on. The one that we focus on is the one that we feed and is the one that creates our reality. And right now, we are creating our reality almost immediately. These things are literally happening immediately right in front of our eyes. It's not taking time, quote unquote, as much as it did before. We are manifesting these things immediately. So it's even more important now than ever that we focus on what we do want to create for ourselves. We get to decide. And this is our grand purpose. So many of us are wondering, what is my purpose here? What is my role during everything that's going on here on the earth during this transition? How can I help? What am I supposed to do? And every higher self answer says this: be the light. You are here to be the light, and in that way, you are helping people in the best possible way that you can. Being the light is your purpose. It is what you came here to do. It's such a simple, easy thing to do. We just make it more complex than it has to be. I want to share a little clip that I'm going to leave you with today from a very dear soul who transitioned recently, just a few weeks ago, Chief Golden Light Eagle. He's an amazing man, a wonderful storyteller, and I, for one, will certainly miss listening to his stories. But this is a clip from him talking about 3 years ago, talking about a message that he received from a friend of his that he is reiterating. And I think it is just absolutely perfect with what is coming up and what we talked about today. So take a listen.
Our relatives, I got a message from one of my sisters in San Diego, beautiful sisters from San Diego, Pat Borsum. She's a very beautiful violet hummingbird woman, you could say. That's her energy. And she sent a message that reminded me of you. So I wanted to share this, and the message come from some wisdom keepers or whatever, and but the author is unknown. So the author is probably one of you sitting out there going to listen to this, listen to your words, and probably won't even take credit for anything. But that's what it's about. It's almost an egoless type message. So the message is like this. It says, on the surface of the world right now, there is a war and violence, and things seem so dark. But calmly and quietly at the same time, something else is happening underground. There's an inner revolution that's taking place, and certain individuals are being called to a higher light. And it's a silent revolution from the inside out, from the ground up. So this is a global operation, a spiritual conspiracy. I like that. These are sleeper cells in every nation on the planet. And you won't see us on TV. You won't read about us in a newspaper. You won't hear about us on the radio. And we don't seek any glory. We don't wear any uniform. We come in all shapes and sizes and colors and styles, and most of us work anonymously. We are quietly working behind the scenes in every country and culture of the world, cities, big and small, mountains and valleys and farms and villages, tribes and remote islands. You could pass by one of us on the street and not even notice, and we go underground and we remain behind the scenes. It is no concern to us who takes the final credit, but simply that the work gets done. So occasionally we spot each other on the streets, in the streets, and we give a silent and a quiet nod and continue on our way. During the day, many of us pretend to have normal jobs, but behind the false storefront, at night is where the real work takes a place. So some call us the conscious army, and we are slowly creating a new world with the power of our minds and the power of our hearts. We lead and follow with passion and joy. Our orders come from the central spiritual intelligence, and we are dropping soft, secret love bombs when no one is looking. They're poems, hugs, music, photography, movies, kind words, smiles, meditations and prayer, dance, social activism, websites, blogs, random acts of kindness. So we each express ourselves in our own unique ways with our own unique gifts and talents. Be the change you choose to see in the world. This is the motto that fills our hearts, and we know it is the only way real transformation takes place. We know that quietly and humbly we have the power of all the oceans combined. Our work is slow and meticulous, like the formation of mountains. It is not even visible at first glance, and yet with it entire tectonic plates shall be moved in the centuries to come. So love is the new religion. You don't have to be highly educated or have any exceptional knowledge to understand it. It comes from the intelligence of the heart, embedded in the timeless evolutionary pulse of all human beings. So be the change you choose to see in the world. Nobody else can do it for you. So we are now recruiting. Perhaps you have already joined us or already have it. All are welcome. The door is open. So thank you for whoever put this together, because it reminds me so much about you, of all of my relatives that I've walked with, talked with, visited with, spent a moment with. This reminds me of you. So I thank you. You're probably listening to this and not giving yourself any pat on the back, but nothing but giving a quiet smile and throwing out some love and all this. So thank you. Pidama Wopila. Mitakuye Oyasi.
And with that, I'm going to leave you all with the song for today. This is Wookiefoot. Be the change. Until next time, I love you all.
Also, before we cue up today's song, as a quick reminder, don't forget to download the Golden Key audio or ebook as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the Golden Key code POSITIVEHEAD. And please, if you enjoy my gift, leave a positive review on Amazon so others can unlock their lives with the help of the Golden Key as well.
You shake your fist at the waiting list and still insist this big cruel world has passed you by. Sand moves fast through the hourglass and still another hour passes. You still just sit there getting high, and your soul is thin 'cause every day's so long. You hide inside the thought of what went wrong. Like Sisyphus will push another